Welcome to The Good Pod, where today we're talking Elsbeth Season 3, Episode 7, and Then There Were Nuns. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, the woman that confessed to me in the pre-show of this podcast that she totally forgot the whole Elsbeth episode about father crime, Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
Hi, it's me. Yup, I'm good now that I remember that because you told me about it. Are you good? How are you doing?
I'm good. It was quite a discovery as we're just chit-chatting pre-show before we do, and I'm talking about father crime as if it's, we're just this old this old character, this fun guy we always know. And she's like, wait, what do you mean? Like, you
Yeah,
remember we had a whole episode centered around father crime. She's like, no, we didn't. It's like, yeah, we totally did. And we went back through memory lane of Elsbeth and refreshed Marissa's memory about the show that we are covering.
everyone, it's been a tough decade, and also, I do you know how much TV I watch? So, I do my best, but sometimes things skip the memory. So luckily we have friends like Jason who will keep me up to date on things and remind me, like, also not let me get away with, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So I hope you also have a person in your life like Jason to keep you on the right track, to keep you reminded of the things that are really important, like Father Crime on Elsbeth, season 2, episode 8.
Yeah. Like our TV history. Listen, it's always been a whole year since season 2,
It
episode
has.
8. So we're on
Yeah.
season 3, episode 7 here as we get through another episode of Elsbeth. Another very interesting case, interesting murder here as we go through this. Before we get too deep into the weeds about this episode, we want to remind you of some free and easy ways you can help this podcast. You can do that by reviewing, rating, and subscribing wherever it is you are watching and or listening. We'd greatly appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button so you like the show. Hit the subscribe so you always know we have a new video coming out. Over on the podcast side, if you're just listening, if you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star review. It's been a minute since we've gotten a new 5-star review, so we'd love to see one come into our algorithm. So we'd love it if you did that. Also, if you're on Spotify, just rate us 5 stars and comment on the episode. Also, if you're on Spotify, you can also do that. If you want to just you had something?
No.
Okay.
I did, but then I didn't.
Okay. Left your brain like Father Crime.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. If you want to just chat with us about the show, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, you can always email us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. If you want to help us, not free and easy, but cost whatever amount of money you want and easy, you can always go to buymeacoffee.com/goodpod and donate whatever it is you would like to for this show. We are a independent small business podcast, so we appreciate any help that you would be willing to throw our way. We did recently get a new Buy Me a Coffee contributor from it is Marcy Dix. We appreciate your contribution, Marcy. We love listeners and viewers like you that are down to help the cause. With that all out of the way, Marissa, you want to run down the episode for us?
I mean, I guess let me just, get in the right state of mind because, I was raised Catholic. So I was not surrounded by as many nuns, but this definitely brought back some memories. So in this episode, Elsbeth investigates the death of pop superstar Aliyah Jade, who falls from the bell tower of a historic convent she's trying to buy and turn into a recording studio. Police assume it's a tragic accident, but the details don't add up. Elsbeth discovers the bell tower door was forced open, a warning sign was removed, and the bells ring at the wrong time for the first time in 200 years. Not really. It's a little dramatic. That was a little dramatic.
It
was a little dramatic. A voice note Elia recorded before her death echoes the language only Mother Constance used, revealing that she manipulated it. Oh my gosh. Aliyah into climbing the tower at sunset. Constance even had stolen a sister's watch to alter the bell schedule. Ba-ba-bum. The truth emerges. Terrified of losing the convent to development, Mother Constance engineered the fall at the top of the sale. She's arrested, but in a twist, the convent is saved when the food drive publicly triggers the landmark preservation ruling. Miraculously. Meanwhile, Elsbeth navigates growing tension with Alec, Marissa, and Teddy, who dig into Alec's past, and the sisters grapple with the fallout of the tragedy. So I was watching the time on this one, and I think we didn't get into the police department until like the middle of the episode. I think that's where we're at now.
Yeah, I mean, we're spending a lot of time on the murder before Elsbeth even comes onto the scene. I did enjoy the conceit of this murder, which is like a pop star wants to buy this convent to transform it into a recording studio, which honestly doesn't feel like a super far fetched from like to what might happen today.
Not a stretch, not a stretch at all. And I think this character of Aliyah was Taylor Swift-esque of like there was like a or Kesha-esque at least. There's like there's this thing going on with the producer and she just needs to find a place and she's using all the voice notes to make music. So I liked the allusion to that, but not really calling it out.
Yeah, I was thinking it was much more Kesha related than anything else. Probably throw a little Katy Perry in there as well, I thought. This this former religious person turned into a pop star that now wants to kind of reach back into her religious roots in a way, which is almost as well kind of performative because you're taking this religious thing and, turning it into something else, which they might think is doing one thing, but it's really another. So I thought it was interesting that we got this kind of this reasoning for the murder, and we meet Mother Superior Constance, who is very against this and is not afraid to show it.
The thing is, like, I feel like nun culture is like, I will follow the rules to
nun culture
an extent. Nun culture, as portrayed in television, it's always like, I follow the rules, I'm here, but also, like, what was that one? Mrs. Davis. Did you watch that? That was about a nun. That was weird. But also, like, even in Sister Act, the nuns were a little, just a little, they were going to move or use the system to their advantage. And I mean, I can't blame Mother Constance for wanting to do that. I do blame her methods. But we should also talk about who Mother Constance is played by in this episode. Diane Wiest. Did we talk about her a lot on the podcast last episode, or did we talk about it behind episode?
Because that's a good question. I think it was more off episode because I, for whatever reason, got Diane Wiest confused with our guest star from last.
Oh
no, I was looking at the IMDb for last episode, but I accidentally saw this episode and I was like, Diane Wiest, was that the older woman there? But no, it wasn't. But no, Diane Wiest is here. I think we had a conversation off pod about, I don't know who Diane Wiest was. I've never watched. I challenged myself to be like, I've never watched Diane Wiest thing to know who it is. And going down the list of things that Diane Wiest has been in, which is quite a lot of things. I'm not an Only Murders in the Building fan. I'm not a Mayor of Kingstown fan. I've heard the name Life in Pieces, but I don't remember what that was. In Treatment. Also yes, good. Law and Order. I have watched a ton of Law and Order, but not probably in the era that she was in.
Well, I'm here to remind you that Diane Wiest exists. And
yeah, I've heard the name Diane Wiest. I've definitely I don't know what I've heard. Where I heard it from is probably someone else talking about Diane Wiest, acting like as if I should know who Diane Wiest is. But because of Wiest is such an interesting last name, I think that's what stuck out to me. But I don't think I've ever really watched anything she was in.
I think she did a good job in this, regardless. She was like the little. I mean, there's not much to work with, I'm going to say, but she was.
No, listen, I'm a Wiest head now. Okay, I'm a Wiest converted.
Are you a Wiesty?
I'm a Wiesty now. Because she did great in this. I thought of all the murderers we've had, she was definitely the most not quirky, but the way that she would pop up on people without them hearing her was so fun and interesting. I love that aspect of it. I thought she did a good job with this. I really did.
I also loved the tactic, but not really. She made that one sister feel really bad about the timing of the bells, because it wasn't this is something that had been brought up before, and really shaming. I mean, I have to say, the Catholic Church is under new leadership, but sometimes it was not that nice. And so um,
I mean, oh,
I she really shames this lady because she's like she rings the bells early. She isn't like taking her penance of like doing the dishes like as seriously as she wants her to, and I think that's very old school Catholic at the moment.
mhm.
Coming in there and bringing some shame back into the game.
Well, I definitely saw, a darker part of the nunnery in this, right? We've got Mother Superior Constance doing what she did. I think she had good intentions. Obviously, she wanted to keep the church, and she decided to murder to do it. I thought it was really interesting that at the end, as you spelled out there, that Elsbeth is able to save the nunnery by going through certain channels, and Mother Constance is just like, no, murder's the way to save it. And I was just like, you could have done some other things. Yes, they were creative things, and not everyone's going to be able to think like that. But the fact that you turned to murder as your really quick way of solving this was a choice for sure. And we also saw the Monsignor, Frank, working in mischievous ways of covering this
Mhm.
up when he found out about it through Mother Constance's confession, where she kind of played to what she knew would be his concern that he wasn't going to get this sale through.
Well, because
So
he was going for bishop, right? So he's
yeah, yep,
like this sale is good because it'll make I'll have to become bishop because I won't have a place to lead anymore. So I'm gonna have to become bishop. Mother
yeah.
Constance like not so fast. About that, I don't want the police here anymore because Elsbeth was like the Elsbeth and Mother Constance are very similar in terms of the like popping up and
Hmm.
listening to what people are saying and everything like that. So Mother Constance did not want Elsbeth around at all.
And listen, give Mother Constance, like, I don't know what she would be, but she's very good at incepting people, because she really incepted uh Elia. Who Elia? I did not watch this movie. It was called Honora. Elia is played by Lindsay Normington, but I know
Oh,
Honora was like a big thing. And I'm not sure what Lindsay Normington's role in Honora was. Was she the titular Honora? Is Honora a character in the movie? I don't know. But I feel like Honora was a big kind of like Academy Award darling around award time,
okay.
but I don't know what role she was in that, but I just felt like I should call it out in case anyone at home was like, "How they're not saying she was in Honora? That they're Philistines."
Yeah. No, good coverage there. Because that is also like a movie that I forgot about. So yes, good job.
Yeah,
Thanks for keeping me back on track there.
yeah. I'm your pop culture nun, trying to keep you
Yes,
back on, give you
yes.
guidance, keep you on track. But Elia, who is doubting herself, doubting her management, and is looking for guidance. And I loved Mother Constance being like, "Yeah, you got to look for guidance. I went up to the bell tower, and I saw the divine and pure light when I at this certain amount of." She's like, "And you probably will see the divine light at 5:42
5:42.
p.m., which is when the sun will be setting." I was like, I don't know. I think you probably could have instructed her to go up there at 6 o'clock. I don't think you need to do all the other shenanigans as well.
Well, I don't know if the bells had to be moved. I think she could have set her up and said, "Hey, if you want to get a really good seat for this, just go up at 5:45. Like go up
Well, the
there."
bells need to be told so that the bell would knock her off out of the
You
window.
don't think she'd spend 15 minutes up there looking at the sun? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I
Like
don't think Elia
I
is
don't
someone's
think
going to
like
be
it's like the lights go out,
right.
like
Yeah, I don't think Elia is going to be thinking like, "Oh, I better get out of here, get out of the way of this bell because it's going to ring at 6 o'clock." I just don't think that would be
right.
in the front of her mind. So I think you probably could have gotten her to go up there. Yeah, like you said, incept her at 5:42. She still goes up there. She's still up there when the bell rings. You didn't need to do all this other
Yeah.
extra stuff. And I think that's
No.
what really is Mother Constance's downfall, right? Because she does all this stuff with the watch that's setting forward the time on Sister Darby's watch, which is kind of an easy way to get caught. Also, she lies to Elsbeth when Elsbeth comes there and tells Elsbeth like, "Oh yeah, I was in support of the sale," which is something easy to be found out about. Someone should be like, exactly what happened. The other nun would be like, "No, like actually, Mother Constance was not in favor of the sale." So that gets Elsbeth's mind going at that point. Like, huh, Mother Constance lied to me. That's interesting.
Well, yeah. Before I comment to that, I do want to just also mention that Monsignor Frank was played by David Raish, who is in like all of the things, including Succession most recently, but goes back all the way back to Ryan's Hope, Jason.
Yeah, Ryan's Hope, All My Children. He's a soap guy. I vaguely remember him from All My Children. As I've said on the show before, I was a soap kid thanks to spending summers with my grandparents. Also in Nurses, which was a very underrated sitcom of the '90s. Probably something I should not have been watching as a child, but I did because there were like jokes that at the time went over my head. But I remember his character on that. He was a very
It
like
was,
kind of chauvinistic doctor, if I
yes,
recall,
and
making sexual
snarky.
advances to all the other nurses. So that's what sticks out in my head about this guy. Because when I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, it's that guy. It's Nurse's guy. That's what I will always remember him from. Even when I seen him other things, like, oh, it's Nurse's guy. So yeah, that's where I got my thing from for him.
Yeah, he's definitely that guy kind of guy. But I think I remember him from All My Children and then everything else. But in regards to this case, Jason, I was really thinking we were going to get to another like we don't have proof type of situation here because
Mm-hmm.
it was very very light, and also like Elsbeth's aha moment didn't make any sense to me. She was just like, oh, okay, here you go.
Yeah,
And then also I have this random tablet of the 10 commandments that I can use as a prop to tell Mother
yeah.
Constance that she
That was
committed a crime.
that was crazy. I was like, wow. Else, like the amount of work that had to go into that of like finding a faux Ten Commandments tablet. Like, is it like we're gonna go bust Mother Constance? I'm like, no, we can't. My fake Ten Commandments tablet hasn't come in from the Etsy seller yet that I ordered it from. You have to wait until this specialized Ten Commandments tablet comes in from wherever I ordered it from. That was like we're getting into really silly territory now with these busts.
Or do you think that it was like craft night? And she's like, hold on, let me go to Michael's. I'm going to get some styrofoam. I'm going to carve it out. I'm going to spray
Very
paint it.
possibly.
And then we got something.
Very possibly. I did, because in the investigation of this, Constance kind of asked Elsbeth what her thoughts on religion are.
Mm-hmm.
And Elsbeth doesn't really answer, which I think is interesting, right? Because I feel like the show wants to make Elsbeth kind of neutral in a way. Did you come up against anything with
Well,
that?
yes, because we have to, I think in this, we need to take into account the context of right now, right? It's
Mhm.
2025. Paramount just went through this whole thing. They're definitely also being controlled a little bit by the government. So they're not going to really take a lot of swings. They're not going
Mhm.
to go a lot of places. And so it doesn't surprise me that Elsbeth like has the stance. I think we haven't really had any comments from her on religion in general, but she definitely like believes in people
Yeah.
and she believes in like people doing things for other people and like magic, but that not saying that like faith and magic are the same thing. But what was your take on it?
It was interesting to leave her in that neutral spot because I feel like Elsbeth is someone. I think it is kind of true to her character, right? She's seen the evil in a lot of people, but has also seen the goodness and grace
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of people. And I feel like she's someone that is very logical and analytical. So I do feel like she doesn't know. And I like that where she goes like, I want to believe in something, but I don't right now. She loves that other people believe it, but that's not her.
Yeah, and I also think like she's so attached to the truth that
Mhm.
unless she was the person who opened the tomb and found the Shroud of Turin, I don't know if she would actually believe in Jesus. Not saying that she has to be Christian, but you know what I mean? Like she would need to find something to really ground her in that, I think.
Yeah, I like that. I like that it was addressed and it was like she just is kind of in a neutral space about it. Let's talk about the team. The team for this episode:
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Elsbeth,
Yep.
Nikki is back, second
Love
episode in
it.
a row.
Love it.
Feels like they might be doing that because I think we had Grace for a couple episodes in a row. Now we've got Nikki for a couple episodes in a row. Who knows when or if Nikki will be back in the next episode? But they're here with Elsbeth. Smullen is our detective. It's been a minute since we've seen Smullen. Smullen is doing what Smullen does. Smullen comes in. He's like, oh, obviously an accident. So that's it.
That's it. Well, and there was a confession, right? There was a confession from the equivalent of a Swiftie, the equivalent
Yeah.
of a diehard fan who basically has like pictures on his phone of Alaya, a location of Alaya, all of this stuff, and this is enough for Smullen. He's like, "This is it.
Case closed.
That's it." And Elsbeth like, "Hold on, let me just ask like a simple question." And it's like she says something wrong about her career. I forget what it was. And then
Yeah.
the guy who was confessing was like, "No, not really. She did this. And she worked really hard." It's blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, yeah. So you're
I almost thought that this guy had been put up to this by Mother Constance, because when Ellsworth comes in, like starts calling out some of the inconsistencies about the
mhm,
crime scene. Like when they get into the bell tower, because the bell tower is like very like rickety, like not under repair. There was a thing that says danger, do not come in. But when Ellsworth gets into the crime scene, she notices, oh, the danger sign was moved.
mhm.
Someone forced open the thing, like because there was something locking it, but someone had taken out the lock. So she notices all these things. Mother Constance is like, oh crap. I in trouble. So I thought she put the guy up to it. I thought this was maybe like a guy that was part of the convent. He had done something wrong, and maybe Constance had convinced him to take the fall for this in her place. But no, the fact that this guy was a what, did they give him a name? A Elia head or whatever?
Something.
He just wanted to be a part of the story, and to do that, he was willing to confess to a murder he did not commit. Was so funny, because like I do wonder if there would be people like that if something akin to this happens now, right?
Yeah. I mean, strangely, the only thing I can think of is the fact that Yolanda is coming up on parole for Selena's murder.
Oh,
remember,
interesting.
like, uh, remember, Selena got murdered. Like, this is the only
Mhm.
thing that I can really like tie it to. But there was no fight over who killed Selena
Yeah,
at that time. I'm trying to think. Like, I think unfortunately there are people that would do that. I,
yeah. I think there are unwell people
yes,
that would
yeah.
decide that they wanted to be part of this narrative and would do it in this way, which is a rather extreme way to do this. So I thought it was a fun little moment, and Elsbeth, being Elsbeth, is able to clock it immediately. She's like,
Yeah.
because like this guy, like I saw your phone case, right? Like I saw you have an Elia phone case, so obviously you're not trying to harm her for nefarious reasons. And then, like I said, she planted a whole bunch of this like false information about Elia, and this intense fan man had no choice but to correct her when he's like presented as this big bad like criminal of like, yeah, I did it, and he says all this. He's like, actually, what you don't know about Elia is this. I thought that was so fun, and of course, Smullen, who as we said, is trying to get this solved as fast as possible, is of course oh, we got a confession, we're all good. When at first he's coming in like, oh, obviously this is an accident, and then Elsbeth spells out all of the reasons why it wasn't an accident. He's like, oh, okay, whatever. Smullen, why do you still have a job? That's what I have to wonder.
I love when Smullen is sullen. It's just like he is there and then he just like, oh, okay. And then he does nothing for the rest of the episode. Like he
Nothing.
does the thing and then he just comes around for the pickup at the end.
Yeah, for sure. And for Smullen to be so hesitant about about going into a convent because of his background
Yes.
was funny as well. Mostly because, and I mentioned this when we first met Smullen, he does an audiobook for this James
Yeah.
Patterson character. Who the James Patterson character? I'm trying to find the name of the person, but it was shoot, but basically the person that he narrates, this detective, is an extremely Catholic person. So I don't know if that was like a wink and a nod to people that know,
Oh.
but he's extremely Catholic, highlighted by the fact that he has like 8 to 10 children in the stories that he portrays. uh but yeah, I thought that was really funny where someone's obviously uncomfortable. He's like, yeah, I did not have the greatest relationship with in Catholic school, so I'm not loving this. But yeah, Smullen is here just as set dressing, I guess, just to have someone that's able to um, arrest the person at the end. And Nikki is usually very on top of things, but they were not even that big of a
They
helper
were
in
just
this.
like taking notes at this
Yeah,
point.
for sure. And
Yeah.
when Elsbeth comes in and she's like picks the dust bunny off of Constance, like in the very beginning, it's like, oh, she's already got her eye on you. When Elsbeth has her eye on you, it's never gonna go well.
I just wonder, like, what do you think it was? Was it the dust bunny? She's like, oh my gosh, she has a dust bunny. Like,
I
what is
mean,
it? Like, is it just the Elsbeth sense?
yeah, it's like this the dust bunny she picks off of the thing, and then it's like when they get into the very dusty clock tower, Elsbeth's
Yeah.
probably like,
I
okay.
did like that reveal when they were up there and there was like a secret box of cigarettes and a bunch
Yeah.
of other stuff that Mother Constance had hidden up there. And also that like all of the nuns knew about this. I really we were talking a little bit about this before, but like nuns are fun. I like the nuns. The nuns are pretty good. Especially in this episode, they are like, yeah, you know, she used to be a rebel, but we don't talk about it too much anymore.
Yeah.
And if you go upstairs, you might see something, but I'm not going to talk about it. And also, like, we watch Father Crime every night.
Yeah,
Then it's on and get all together. It was really fun.
a strength of Elsbeth is definitely the ability to call back and to bring characters back into the narrative. And Father Garvey, aka Father Crime, aka the actor Jack Wilson, who was much to Marissa's not failing memory, was in that episode last season where they did this whole crime inside of a cop procedural writer room. Was very fun. I like that he was brought back. I like that he was like a big part of the episode because I thought it was just going to be like that one moment where the nuns are watching Father Crime. And of course, they love Father Crime because he is a he is a father as well as a detective. So I love that aspect of it. But then they actually brought him in to do the food drive because, as we discussed, Mother Constance is like does a quote unquote confession to Monsignor Frank about her doing this and how you need to get them out of the church because if they find this out, it's going to ruin the sale. So Monsignor Frank goes to the station. He's like, hey, I can't have you cops running around my convent anymore. If you want to come in, you're going to need a warrant. We don't have enough to get a warrant right now. So the way Elsbeth gets back in is to get, Father Garvey, Jack Wilson, to show up at the food drive as this big celebrity that brings in like 2 or 3 food trucks for the thing and makes it this big publicized thing. And that's how Elsbeth gets back in to the convent to, do her questioning, find out her little things. That's how she gets close to Sister Darby, who was the person that was responsible for the bell ringing incident which killed Elia, and to find out that why would my watch be fast? I don't know. I was around. I took my watch off, and yes, Mother Constance was around at this
Sneaky,
moment. So,
sneaky.
yep. So that's more of Elsbeth's like, okay, yep, it's all falling into place. It's all coming together.
Yeah. I thought also it was interesting because not only did she bring Father Crime, but she also had Marissa and Alec on board too. Like she called the whole team.
Yep. It's got
What
everything
did you
going.
Yeah, what did you think of the Marissa and Alec
Um,
stuff?
yeah, we still don't know exactly what's going on. Things are happening to add to suspicion to Alec because Teddy has to be introduced to everything in the Elsbeth world now. Teddy comes in because Teddy's doing a story
Right.
on Alec. It's going to be his first byline, and so it's kind of a background piece on Alec, kind of a puff piece, if you will. There is this story about how Alec used to hang around the subway tunnels, and he would hang out with the workers in the subway tunnels. He hung out with this one worker, and the worker would share his sandwich with Alec, and it's such a feel good story. So now Teddy's on a mission to find Pete, he only has the name Pete, so he has to call every Pete that used to work for the New York Metro. He's calling a lot of Pete's. He finally gets a Pete that tells him, "Oh yeah, I remember Alec. I remember the kid with the
Oh,
sandwiches in the
I
subway
remember
train.
that guy.
I remember
Yeah.
the kid. Yeah, I remember the kid in the tunnels with the sandwiches." So Teddy's like, "Oh great, I found the Pete. I found the guy." And so we have this, we at the end of the show, we have this like publicity type of thing at the convent where Alex shows up. It was at the convent, right? That's where it
It
was.
was, yeah, because they
Yeah.
were celebrating the fact that the food drive had saved the convent and also given the convent historical landmark status, so everything has to be restored back. So they were having this picture, but then Marissa was like, hey, this is also a great campaign opportunity, so let's have a photo op with Alec there as well. And Teddy's like, well, this will be even better, let me bring Pete.
Yeah, and so Pete's here. He's this kind of older black guy, and Alec recognizes Pete immediately because Alec turns around. He's like, "Oh, hey, Pete, what's up, man?" And, shakes Pete's hand as if Pete is this old friend of Alex. He's like, "Yeah, we have to catch up." Blah blah blah. And so then Teddy's talking to Pete some more. Teddy's like, "Oh yeah, Alec is running to be mayor," and Pete's like, "What happened to Koch?" Who, if you know anything about New York mayoral history, Mayor Koch was quite some time ago.
Yes.
So at the time where he's like, "What happened to Koch?" He's like, "Uh-oh, like what's going on with Pete? What's happening with Pete?" And so Pete tells Teddy, "I don't recognize that guy. I don't know who that guy is. Like, what do you mean?" Which is like, huh. So there's a lot of things that could be happening here, which is like, and we've talked about on the show, Alec is not going to be a good guy, right? Can't be.
He's too good to be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those. And I think here, I don't know, like was he held prisoner for a while? Is he up? Like, or was he like
Was who held
is it
prisoner?
hired? I'm like trying to think about why the guy brought up Koch instead of bringing up
Well, I just think that Pete was kind of like, I don't
hired.
I don't think everything's okay with Pete.
Yes, agreed.
I think Pete has some mental issues, maybe. I don't know. But I think I don't know if maybe Alec was tipped off to the fact that Pete was going to show up, that Pete was going to be here, and Alec was ready for this because he had heard that Teddy found Pete through whatever means, and so he was ready to be like, "Oh, hey, it's Pete," even though Alec doesn't know who Pete is.
Or Alec was the guy who stole the sandwich after the kid actually asked Pete for the sandwich.
Maybe I don't think Alec, whatever story this was, I don't think it's real.
No, agreed.
Because Teddy could have just called Pete. Because when Teddy called Pete, he laid out the whole story, and Pete was just like, "Oh yeah, I remember." So is it Pete is just not like
It's
all
like,
there, and Pete's just like, "Oh yeah, totally, I definitely did it." Because when Teddy calls, he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for Pete, who was the Pete that worked at the Subway and who gave sandwiches to a man named Alec." And Pete's like, "Oh yeah, I remember." And when he really doesn't. But the fact that Teddy has now found a Pete that goes along with the story, Alec's like, "Yes, more confirmation of my story." So I'll say, "Yeah, Pete, I remember you."
I'm just gonna say sometimes people forget things, okay? Like it's okay.
Yes,
It's
Marissa,
okay
we know you
if you
forget
forget things.
things. You forget
It's
things
all
for
right.
sure. But yeah, Alec is definitely not who he pretends to be. Um,
Which
yeah,
is
because
dangerous for everyone involved, like everyone.
yeah.
But do you think it's gonna be Teddy who finds something and then brings it up? Like, how do we think that's gonna
I think Teddy's going to do some more investigation, and whatever this investigation brings up, which I think the fact is Alec is lying about who he is / was. He presents himself as this hard on his luck story. He pulled himself up from his bootstraps. I just don't think that will be all. I think he came from he's secretly a trust fund baby or something. He's lying about something. He has nefarious purposes. I think Teddy's going to look into it. Teddy's going to find some more stuff. Teddy's going to bring it to Elsbeth, and Elsbeth's going to be like, "I already know, Teddy. I know, because Marissa and me have been working to take down Alec in
Yeah.
shadow
Because we
ways."
still don't know what the rest of that conversation was.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen with the whole Alec thing. I think he's going to be exposed for him not being who he actually pretends to be, and the only way they can redeem the Marissa character right now, because right now the Marissa character is not like, from what we've seen on Elsbeth,
Watch
she's
what you
looking to
say.
be.
Watch what you say.
I know that what they have presented to us thus far in Elsbeth is that she is opportunistic. She's more like her father than the kind of like upstanding person you remember her to be from Good Fight and Good Wife. So I think the only way to redeem that is for Marissa to actually be working to take down Alec from the inside.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're not going to know what that work is for like another. What are we on episode 8?
Around 7 or 8.
We're on 7. probably not going to know till like, I don't know, episode 15.
Yeah, this is they're really kind of drawing this out, so it seems like we're going to be in quite a while trying to figure out what's going on with Alec. My worry is it's not going to be as interesting as we hope it is, and
Yeah.
the juice is not going to be worth the squeeze, as they say. I'm still worried about Kaya, wondering where she is.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
haven't touched on that at all, so I'm like, when are all these threads going to come together? Um, but yeah, that's the Alec part of it for this episode. I think just little by little, we're going to find out more about Alec not being who he is.
Do you think Alec is tied to Winnie?
Oh, Crawford's widow?
Crawford's widow? Yeah.
No, I don't think so. And I don't. I'm all enough. That's another thread they've left dangling. Like, what's going
Yeah.
on with the Crawford widow? Was that all that we're going to get from that storyline of like, oh, I know my husband was an evil man, but I'm going to cover up what he did to keep his name good? Is that going to be all, or is she up to more nefarious things? Is she looking for revenge from out of Elsbeth? Who knows? Who knows?
We may never.
We may never. I did like. I know I poo poo the methods a little bit of Mother Constance, but I thought it was kind of it was ingenious, right? It was be like to set the clock forward a little bit, but I thought it would have been an easily caught thing because did she go back and set the watch right afterwards? I don't know.
I don't know, but all I can tell you is that Mother Constance was thinking about that for quite some time. Like, this isn't the first person she thought about putting up on the bell tower. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, she had a plan. She was like, okay, this is gonna happen. This is how we're gonna do it. I found the person for this. So but I do think like justice for sister, what's her name? The other one.
The one that got made mother
Yeah,
at the
no,
end.
well, no, she deserved it, but the one with the watch, like, she was treated
Oh,
and
Mother Darby or
gaslighted.
Sister
Yeah,
Darby.
Sister Darby was, like, really gaslit by Mother Constance here, and,
Oh,
like,
yeah, I mean,
not great.
she had Sister Darby thinking that like she was the main person responsible for killing Elia when Sister Darby was kind of doing her job and she was tricked into doing it earlier than needed because I think that was too much of a loose thread to be hanging for
Yeah.
Sister Darby. Like, why is my watch telling me it's 6 when it's actually 5:45? What's going on there? So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but also, Jason, I just wanna say overall, this felt like a 10-minute episode over 30 minutes or over 45 minutes or something. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
what it was. It just I guess it's because we're into simplified timelines or
Yeah, it
simplified
went.
plot lines or whatever, but I feel like, unfortunately, it's not that I am not enjoying the show, but I am coming to the reality that this is a much different show than it was.
I mean, it's a procedural, right? And
It is
procedural at a certain point follow a certain formula that is kind of easily
tied and trust.
predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tried and true. I do like the fact that this, unlike other procedurals, does do fun things like fun callbacks, like bringing
Yes.
back Father Crime. That is a fun thing you don't find in a lot of other procedurals. So I will give it that. I'm hoping that the secondary storylines start kicking in more, and because that is also something that will buck the formula, right? It'll buck it'll liven things up because it does feel like, and I've talked about this before, where it's like I'm still trying to get used to the how catch 'em format, where it's like we already have all the information and we're watching our protagonist figure it out, right?
Right.
So that it does kind of rob the suspense and tension out of things a little bit. I do think the character and personality of Elsbeth really helps the show. I think if you just had like a regular boring detective doing these things, it wouldn't be as fun and funny. But that's the flavor and style that Elsbeth brings to the proceedings, which makes it a fun show to keep watching. Um, so yeah, I think I'm having fun with it. It's not the most like riveting thing I've ever watched, but it's enjoyable. It's a fun little thing. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I think that like before with the how catch 'em format, before we had other storylines that were going on that would like kind of like plot like prop up the story. You know what I mean? And now that we've got those storylines kind of trimmed away, it's like, okay, we know how we did it. You know what I mean? I wonder if the show would be better served if it went to a traditional route, or like, but we're 3 seasons into it now, so I don't know if the show could
Yeah.
actually do that. But yeah, Carrie Preston is bringing all of Elsbeth that she possibly can into these things. She was slip sliding all over the floor. She was
Yeah.
leaning around things, doing the best she could with physical comedy, and she's really bringing it every episode.
Yeah, I love the presentation she was making to at Wagner's office, where she made up the danger sign and was like doing the whole thing of like, if Elia had done this, she would have to struggle to bring this. Why would she do that? Why would she struggle bringing the sign all the way over here? As she struggles to bring the sign over to the other side of the room. Very fun thing there as well. And I do think these things like Elsbeth busting the Elia head to
Yes,
it
yes,
was fun. Of like, it's fun to note her perceptive methods of like, I saw the phone case, so I figured you were a fan, so I figured you didn't do this, like you were just about to make yourself part of the narrative, doing the fun little test to make sure that he is a fan, was also fun. So there are fun things in here. I just think the fact that there's no suspense there is also kind of like,
yeah. Like we don't
we already
have
know
that
how it's going to
other.
end. Yeah, we know how
Yeah.
this is going to end. But yeah, what'd you think of the of the producer guy? I did want to look up the producer of the Kesha thing,
Oh,
like
Mr.
Dr. Luke or something.
Oh yeah, that was Dr. Luke. Yeah, we no. I was like, it did bad things to Kesha. No,
Dr. Luke, yes.
no boy
Dr.
boy.
No Way for sure. And I liked how they really portrayed this guy to be just like the zeitgeist of the douches.
Yeah, it was like all of them wrapped into one. And the fact that, like, I don't know, don't share your voice notes with people on the cloud, okay? Like, who knows, like, what they're gonna do with them? Because also, I think there was a news story this week about how like some piece that people did in 2010 like got
Yes.
reused
Yep.
for like
It's
something that
it,
they don't agree with.
yeah, it's Kristen Bell,
Yes,
and some
and
other
Brian
celebrities.
Cox,
Brian Cox.
and
They
yeah,
did a recording about, it was like it's kind of like a religious biblical thing, and now it's going to be because they did this a long time ago, apparently, without, I guess, without a means of distribution or whatever. And so now it's going to be distributed by Fox News. And I think a lot of those people that were involved probably don't love Fox News and what they feel
yeah,
Fox News stands for. So they're kind of not great with it. They're going no way to the fact that it's going to be on Fox, a thing distributed by Fox News. So yeah, and that is there is such a market with that now, right? Of using deceased people's likenesses
mm-hmm.
for other things, whether it be a hologram for a music show or there are deceased rappers and music people that are coming out with new content all the time because there were these unreleased demos or voice notes that are being repurposed and used as new material.
Yeah, and also like with the advent of that Sora app or whatever, I just
Yeah. Oh
remember
my
like
gosh. Yeah.
Robin, like Zelda Williams saying like, "Please stop sending me pictures, like videos
Yeah.
of my dad," or and even Martin Luther King's daughter was like,
Yeah.
"This is not cool," like, and
Yep.
it's not, and it just that's what it really brings me to is like, don't sign anything. Like I know like we do podcasts. I mean, our stuff is out there, not that, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, just be aware of the technical landscape is what I'm taking away from this episode.
For sure. For
Like,
sure.
um, no.
Because yeah, and woof, I think for some reason we keep mentioning South Park on this podcast, but South Park did a great episode about like the Sora stuff.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like, it is a crazy age we're living in, where you can make anyone do anything
And
via those apps.
they did it so well that I didn't even know I was like watching a Sora. Well, I thought it was the show. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it was really, really well done. So I recommend that. Also on a Paramount Plus. So we're not going too far
Hey,
away,
true, very
but
true. Very true.
you can watch that there. But yes, I feel really bad for what happened to Alea. Not only did she die, but she
Yes.
also, was releasing songs she didn't even put together herself, and people were making money off of them after. I mean, they were going to make money off of the songs she put out while she was alive, but who knew what she was going to do with this content?
Yeah, and as as we like to talk about with Elsbeth and the reveal, right, of the crime and of the person getting arrested, it was like, because, and the big aha moment for Elsbeth was that Alaya used in the voice note she used for the
Right.
song the divine light that
Yes.
Elsbeth heard Sister Constance use. So she's like, oh, it was Sister Constance. That was the aha moment. And so
That
that
was the
by
name.
itself is not, obviously not going to convict anyone of anything. But then for Elsbeth to present this to the group of sisters, and then for the sisters to get through to Mother Constance to have her kind of confess what she did, I was like, okay, I mean, you've got a confession, so I guess
That's
I guess there you
it.
go.
I mean, that seems to be like they did that in another episode too. Of, like, we're just
Mm-hmm.
gonna force the confession
Yeah.
of Chidi from The Good Place.
Yeah, and I did love the fact that when as Mother Constance is getting arrested, Elsa's like, "Oh yeah, I got this place like changed into a landmark, so they're not going to tear it down. They're not going to be able to sell it, and they're going to have to restore it." And they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't have to like
Yeah.
kill anyone
Yeah.
to help this. Oh, I probably was real quick to murder, huh? Like maybe that's a flaw within me that I just turned to murder very
Okay.
quickly and didn't even look at any other things that saved the church."
I've said it before. I'll say it again. And that's on capitalism. Like, that the
Mhm.
historical preservation is a government entity. It is something you apply for. It's something you get granted by the government to put those things in place. Just so you know, the East Wing of the White House also was covered by that,
Oh boy.
that protection as well. So it may not hold up all the time, but yeah, like it got nuns to think killing is better than bureaucracy.
Yes,
And if
exactly.
it can do that to nuns, what can it do to you? Like
And
that's what
yep,
I'm really coming after.
that is your piece to go back with out of this podcast and think about for
This
your
is the
life.
sermon of the week,
Yeah,
everyone.
exactly. Exactly. So anything else you wanted to hit on this episode of funnery at the nunnery?
No, I think, I was happy to see Teddy. I know he's going to get involved in anything, but I was more excited to see Ron,
Roy,
Roy.
his boyfriend. Yeah.
Yes, more excited and I want to know how his podcast is going. Those are
Yeah, for sure. I want to know that. All right, so that's our episode for this week. Marissa, you want to tell the people where they can find you and all your musings, shenanigans, whatever you're up to?
Sure thing. Hey, good folks, you can find me at itsmemarissag.com, where you have links to all of the podcasts that I'm on, including this one. Obviously, we cover Elsbeth, but we are also in the middle of Good Wife coverage. We're in the middle of season 4, episode 9, coming up to the middle of that season itself. Can't believe it's going by that fast. I'm also on Whirlwind Podcast Network talking about Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time. I try to explain it. I can't explain it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. The show is it's the show, and so
How many
otherwise
episodes? How many episodes does that show have? Because it feels like you've been doing that as
there
long as we've been doing this. We've been doing this for a
are
while.
7 seasons,
Wow.
and we watch the previously on of every season, and then we go and watch the whole season so that we can actually have something to stand on. But it still doesn't make any sense, so I don't know if that's helping or not. Other than that,
Fantastic.
you can find me and my sister on the USS Sisterhood talking about Star Trek: The Next Generation. We just wrapped up season 2. We'll be on to season 3, so we are continuing our voyage into the final frontier. Jason, what's going on with you? Are people getting married at first sight? What are they doing?
People got married at first sight and things happened. Okay. this week was the culmination of season 19. So we dealt with all the finale shenanigans, decision day, the reunion, which was very interesting and explosive. So that's something that floats your boat. Come on over. I'm talking about it a lot, right? Because I'm talking about it on my podcast, A Perfect Match, that I do with Asia Welch. We also have a Patreon podcast where we talk about the same drop episodes talked about in the regular podcast, but we do that with a guest. We talk about how they're feeling about the drops. We're trying to get more Married vs. Sight past participants, podcasters to talk about it, to give their thoughts on the drops as well. So we're doing that over on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/perfectmatchpodcast to find that, if that's something that you're into. I'm also going to be talking about the reunion episode by itself on another podcast called Altar Call that my friend Tane does, who joined us over on The Good Wife, over on that side of the podcast. So a lot of places I'll be talking about the same 2 episodes of television that I watched. But yeah, that's where you can find me this week. And until next episode, stay good.